No, there is not.
In 1773, a Scottish traveller carried 3 copies of a book out of Ethiopia. It had been cut out of the Bible for more than 1,000 years. For most of Christian history, this book did not exist. It was quoted by the early church, then it was dropped, and then it was gone.
I am not asking you to give it to me. I am asking you to let it be read. It has been read for 400 years by us. 400 years, and by no one else. That is why it survived.
It had survived in exactly one place on Earth, the Highlands, in a language almost nobody read. Fragments of it turned up in a cave by the Dead Sea. 11 copies in Aramaic, older than the Gospels. And the man who carried the whole thing back to Europe was not a priest. He was a Scottish explorer looking for the source of the Nile. It took another 40 years before anyone in Europe bothered to translate it. What it describes did not happen in a temple. It happened under this sky, on ordinary ground, to ordinary people. The man who wrote it is called Enoch. Your Bible gives him 4 lines, and then says only that he was taken. This book says where he was taken, and what he found when he got there. It begins before the flood, in a world that was already going wrong. And it names the ones who made it go wrong. 200 of them. The book calls them the Watchers.
I fear you will not do this. I fear I shall bear this sin alone.
Then bind us. If we fall together. Swear it. On Hermon we swear.
They came down onto a mountain. They swore an oath together, and then they taught. Penemu taught men the bitterness and the sweetness of ink and paper. He taught them to write. Azazel taught the women. Antimony for the eyes, bracelets and ornaments, every precious stone and every colouring tincture. Barakiel taught astrology. Kokabeel, the signs of the stars. Ezekiel, the reading of the clouds. Sariel, the course of the moon. The book names 17 of them, one by one, and gives each one his craft. It reads less like a myth and more like a list of charges. And Azazel taught the men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates. None of it was magic. All of it was knowledge. That is what makes this story uncomfortable. And it is worth saying plainly, every one of those is a real skill. Writing, metallurgy, astronomy, medicine, the things we built the world with. The book does not say the knowledge was false. It says it came too early and from the wrong hands.
Take it. Iron beats stone.
What do we owe you?
Nothing. Yet.
We swore to teach them, not to arm them.
You gave them a mountain and an oath. I gave them iron.
You gave them a reason to use it.
They had the reason. They were missing the blade. When this is counted, it will be counted to me. Then stop counting.
And then the women bore children. The book gives their height in cubits, and it is not a human number. First the storehouses emptied, then the herds. Then there was nothing left to give them. They consumed everything men could produce. And when men could no longer feed them, they turned on men. They turned on each other, and the ground took what was left of them.
They're here! They were given a choice. They were given teachers. That is not the same thing. Then say it upward, not to each other, that the sons of Hedon have ruined the daughters of men. He is waiting to be asked. You walk with him. Speak for us. I will carry your words. Not your chains. Then carry this. We did not want to rule you. We wanted to be you. That is the sentence, Amaza. Not the defense.
But before any of that, the Watchers did something nobody expected. They did not go to God. They went to a human being. They asked Enoch to write their petition, and he agreed. He fell asleep over it by a river. The clouds took him. The lightning drove him forward, and the winds gave him wings. He walked into a wall of fire because there was no other door. Behind it stood a house built out of ice, with fire burning inside the walls. He describes it like a man trying to report something his language was never built for. His words, hot as fire and cold as ice. And there was nothing in it of the pleasure of life. He had come carrying a petition, not for himself, for them. And the answer he got was not yes, and it was not no. He was told he had the roles backwards, that he should have been asking forgiveness for men, not men for angels. He came back down and he read it to them out loud. Semjaza did not stand up.
The time of waiting is ended. You will have no peace. Not the sons you made, not the ones who made them.
Bind him, hand and foot. For how long? Until the day of judgment. Tell them I'll wait.
Azazel was bound hand and foot and thrown into the darkness of a pit in the desert. The book says he is still there until the day of judgment. The earth itself laid accusation against the lawless ones, and it was heard. Everything the Watchers had built was taken off the face of the earth in water. And when the water went still, there was nothing left to argue about. After that day, the book stops calling them the Watchers. It calls them the Fallen, one book, cut out for 1,000 years, kept alive in one language, in one country, by accident. Ask yourself why the oldest man who ever described heaven came back frightened.